Star Power Entertainment.
Oh, can you describe to me the moment you knew that you would be a great radio personality? Because I know sometimes you say it just fell in your lap or you weren't even pursuing this career necessarily.
The first time that I knew that this could really turn into something was when I was working at Sirius and we interviewed Jay-Z. And it was just a great interview. I think we walked out of there and we were like, wow, that was like one of the best interviews ever. So after that, I had a lot more confidence interviewing somebody like Jay-Z and having it turn out so well.
So that Power interview with Jay-Z, that wasn't the first time you interviewed him?
No, it was when I was at Sirius.
Oh, check that out. So I didn't know that. So being in the field that you are and having the success that you have, what keeps you humble? Because, you know, in the meet and greets, even when you read up on blogs, there's really hardly anything negative about you. So what keeps you so humble and close to the people?
Well, I mean, I think I still, I don't think I've been successful enough to feel like I'm different than anybody else. I still live in Brooklyn, and I still take the train sometimes. I still have the same friends I had from when I was in elementary school. Even some of my friends are the same people I've known since I was like 5 years old. So it's not like the only thing I would say that's different now is that I make more money than I ever used to make before. And other than that, I'm still got the same people around me. I think you have to keep some of your same friends around you, people that you trust, people that can tell you if you're acting funny or get out of line or whatever. And you always have to just know that anything could happen. There's a lot of people that have been successful and had everything fall apart, and you have to learn from other people's mistakes. And I've seen, how other people act, and I've had a really, I would say, steady acceleration with my career. It's not like all of a sudden one day I was, a well-known radio personality. It was definitely, so far, 9 years of hard work so far.
And now you being at Power and with the Breakfast Club, you guys make serious waves. So I want to know, what has been your most memorable interview in Breakfast Club's history thus far, and why?
I think we've had a lot. I would say our Ray J interview, that was a phoner.
I got an indoor pool, an outdoor pool.
That might be one of our most memorable ones just because we didn't expect that to happen. And it was an interview that a lot of people use the audio for different things. People use a lot of quotes from it, a lot of hashtags, a lot of quotes from that song, from that interview ended up in songs. So I would have to say that was one of the most memorable ones.
For people that don't know about the Ray J interview and what went down during that phone, can you explain a little bit more?
I got an indoor pool, an outdoor pool.
I got back from Vegas, and Ray J was in Vegas, and somebody had told me that he had gotten into a fight with Fabulous. So, somehow Ray J's people reached out to me and were like, okay, Ray J wants to clear up what happened, because they were saying that he beat up Fab or whatever, or Fab beat him up. Nobody knew what happened. So we got him on the phone, and I guess he still was out partying, probably still hungover, who knows. And he just kind of went on a tirade about what went down and talking about how much money he had and how he's part of the money team and so on and so forth. But it was just a lot of funny quotes in that.
And so I guess it just catapulted and developed into something different outside the phone there, and so that's what made it the most memorable?
Yeah, it just was something that I think a lot of people love to listen to. Like, I could still listen to that today and laugh at it. It was pretty funny, and I think, for him that's something that when it happened he probably was really upset, but now I'm sure he can look back at it and laugh. Like, people still tell Ray J all the time, we live?
What went on? Are we live?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
We live.
Yeah.
Okay. We live? Because he said that, in the interview. Charlamagne, we live?
Do you respect everybody you interview?
I respect anybody that can put themselves out there the way a lot of artists have to. Like, if you're a performer and you have to go on stage and perform, if you want to put out music, anybody that's willing to risk failure. Because really what it is it's hard for me to even do certain things sometimes, like to get on stage and just introduce somebody that has to come out there and perform. So I know how hard it is for somebody that has to get out there and put their work on display like that and be open to criticism and all of that. So I respect anybody that has gotten far enough to even get up to the Breakfast Club.
Are people better or worse after having contact with the Breakfast Club?
I think that no matter what it is that you do in life, there's going to be people that hate it and people that love it and some people that are indifferent about it. So whether you're on a reality show and some people are looking at you like, oh, she's so stupid, I can't stand her, there's going to be people that's team you, you know. So after you do an interview on the show, if you can handle yourself in the proper way and you have the material to back it up, some people will like you better. Some people automatically are going to hate. So it's just nothing you could do about it. I definitely believe anybody in this business has to have tough skin. And if you're worried about people liking you, then you're in the wrong business. I always tell them that. If you're worried about, oh, I don't want to do, you can't please everybody, ever. You know, and the more people that don't like you, the more people that do like you.
So the Breakfast Club hasn't debuted on RevoltTV yet. However, what has been the biggest difference in regards to the preparation for that type of production? Seeing how it's a different medium, how it's going to be on TV. And even though it didn't go on TV yet, what's been the preparation like for the big shebang?
Well, I think, we just had several meetings at work about it, and they're going to have cameras in the studio at all times, so that even, are just there. So it's just going to be a little different. It's not going to be like I can come into work. It's really early in the morning. I get up at 4 o'clock, and I get to work, and sometimes I'm still tired. Sometimes I have on sweats. I don't know how real we're going to keep it. I don't know if I'm going to have to try to make sure I dress differently because we haven't started yet.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm thinking that all of that's going to happen, but it's really difficult to get up so early every morning when we've been out at night or working all day. So I don't know what's going to happen differently, but I guess for us, we just have to be aware that we're on camera all the time, so no, digging in your butt or nothing like that.
Was there anybody who thought differently? Was there anyone that second-guessed this Revolt TV move between you, Charlamagne, and Envy?
I wouldn't say, no, all three of us. I mean, I think we just wanted to make sure that the terms were right and how is this going to happen, because it is going to be live every single morning. So that was one thing that, was just our concern was like, okay, how is this going to look? Is this going to be interesting? Is it going to be them catching us behind the scenes, or is it directly what's going to happen on the air? There's just a lot of things that we still haven't even worked everything out yet. And I think, between us and between Revolt, there is going to be like a trial and everything because we never did this before. Obviously, Revolt, this is their first, original program like this, so it's going to be a lot of trial and error at first.
Now, are the fans still going to be able to get the interviews online if they miss them live?
Yeah, of course. Nothing is going to change on our end as far as the content that we provide and the interviews that we have and everything because, this is a deal with Clear Channel. It's not a deal with the Breakfast Club.
Oh,
so
okay.
Their main thing is making sure that our show isn't affected and it doesn't affect what our listeners get to see and hear.
Okay, I see. Perfect. So what has been the most important advice you've been given to stay relevant in your industry?
You know what? I would say a lot of people have given me advice, and a lot of things I've learned on my own, from either my own mistakes or from watching other people or just from common sense. I would say one of the first things I learned when I first did radio, and this is really a common sense thing, but, my boss at Sirius had told me as soon as I started working there that I have to be on time every single day. And that's one of the main things about what I do for a living is that it's early in the morning. You know how people are late to work or, they call out or anything like that? I've never called out sick ever in the, almost 3.5 years that I've been at Power 105. And with the Breakfast Club, I've never called out sick once. And it's just important to make sure that you're always on time. And I feel like that about everything in life. Like if I have a meeting or I have whatever it is, no matter how big or small it is, I'm always on time for everything. Obviously sometimes every now and then things happen, but people know me for that. People know Angela's always going to be there. She's always going to be on time. It's just a respect for what it is that other people are doing. And there's a lot of people who have done radio who couldn't just even get that down, and that's a fundamental. Like, you're not going to be great at it if you can't even be there for it, if your listeners are going to tune in and they don't know if you're going to be there or not.
Exactly. And lastly, okay, so one day you will move on from Power 105.1. One day. No one knows when that day is. And someone will have to fill those shoes. With the legacy you guys built up, you, Envy, and Charlamagne, what do you feel the next person coming will need to possess to keep the Breakfast Club with this much success?
I mean, I think we have always just kind of kept up with the times as far as making sure our social media was on point, making sure that our relevance online is on point. So even if you don't hear the show, you can still catch pieces of it. You can still catch the interviews. You know, you still have content even if you don't get a chance to see it when it happens. I think it's important to have relationships that you can, you know, get those great interviews. But most importantly, you have to be able to do a show and have a show that even if there is no guest or anything crazy happening in the news, you can still have a great and entertaining show because it's really all about you as a radio personality. You can look at somebody like Wendy Williams. When a lot of people weren't getting along with her and it was hard for her to book guests on the show, she still was successful and managed to move into television. And then she got herself into a position where you kind of can't really avoid her. So even if you don't like her, you know, you have to just be like, all right, well, this is still good exposure for me.
Star Power Entertainment.